Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. And it's time to read some mean comments. Professor Bill reads the mean comments, part 2. Okay, let's get started. This is basically as a YouTuber, as a public figure, you deal with a lot of crap from some people. Hey, sometimes it's constructive criticism and they get a hearty thank you, or at the very least a heart. If I can't figure if they're being a jerk or not, just hey, you get a heart. I read your comment. There you go. Moving on. Some people, however, some people, they get a little extra. So you get a little extra attention. So let's start looking at some of these mean comments that people, and some of them are actually good comments too. Listen, here's the deal. When I see a comment that is just particularly like, what? It's an extra comment, I'll take a quick snapshot, saying, off my computer, and I forget about it. I move on. And then at some point, I'm like, hey, my phone's getting full of some of these things. Maybe I should make another one of these videos. So it's time to make another one of those videos. And here we go. This is off of one of the this is off of a Wonder Woman trailer reaction. I don't do a lot of trailer reactions, but hey, there you go. So Eddie White says, so Wonder Woman ain't Greek? LOL. I actually gave this guy a response. Oops. Wonder Woman is from Paradise Island, later named Themyscira, an imaginary island that originated near Turkey, having nothing to do with the original town with the same name. She is also, and I remember in general it says read more. I didn't bother looking at that. She is also a Greek goddess, if you follow the New 52, which Greek gods or Norse gods or Roman gods or Egyptian gods don't necessarily mean that these gods, if they're real or not, are actually of that, the people who worship them. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, the Greek and the Roman gods are technically the same god. So are they Greek or are they Roman? Well, they were Greek first, so the Romans worship Greek gods. It's a touchy kind of thing, but it doesn't actually make them Greek citizenship. So there's that. Also, you could say she was made from clay and not even Grecian clay. So no, no, there is no scenario where Wonder Woman is Greek. So LOL. Oh man, what do we got here? Oh, okay. Bible Alive Presentations responds to Doctor Doom issue number 4 review. Bible Alive Presentation says Doctor Doom can go toe to toe with Captain America, Daredevil, and Black Panther. Stripped of his armor, he can kill a fully grown African lion with a single blow. Yeah, it is believable. Okay. Not the comment I expected from somebody called Bible Alive Presentations, but brah. Look, man. Captain America, super soldier serum. Years of training since World War II and hasn't lost a single step. Trains, even though the super soldier serum dictates that he doesn't actually need to train. Yeah, it says something. Black Panther, a person who has an ancestry of martial arts mastery and tactical expertise throughout his family tree and great genetics, dude. Holy crap. And an ancestral learning of these abilities and the heart-shaped herb, which brings him also to about peak level human, I don't know, engineering, I guess. Yeah. Also, Daredevil, who just has this inhuman ability. It's not inhuman, but an inhuman, not an actual inhuman, from the Marvel comics, but whatever. This supernatural ability to have this radar sense and never be blindsided. Saying never blindsided and all this stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. No, I don't see Doctor Doom being able to go toe to toe with any of these people when he's not in his armor. I simply don't. I can't imagine it. So I love Doctor Doom too. He's my absolute favorite villain, but um, stripped of his armor, he can kill a fully grown African lion with a single blow. Yeah, it's believable. No, I don't. Then again, you also believe in Bible Alive presentations, so there's that. Okay, Max Riga commented. Okay, this is on a Night Watch. There's a couple people have made comments on Night Watch. This is a character who I did a 10 things about. He's a ripoff of Spawn, who is in and of himself a ripoff of many other characters. I'm going to get into all that stuff in a hot minute. So Matt Riga says, I bet Sony is going to cast Tyrese as Night Watch. And that's going to be the first Marvel movie that I skip because Tyrese can't act for shite. That's a very interesting straw man argument that you just made. You introduced Tyrese into the conversation just simply so that you could talk about Tyrese is shite and you hate Tyrese. That's a really weird thing. So here, Max Riga, you probably look like Hitler, and Hitler's absolute shite, and therefore you're probably shite too. You see how silly the whole straw man thing works? It's absurd. Don't don't do that. Okay, this is Spider-Man: The End. Rory Calhoun 426 comments, for some reason I see a crack pipe in that boy's future. When I do this, this means somebody's bold-facing those words, or capitalizing all those words. For some reason I see a crack pipe in that boy's future. See what I did there? And a little wink. What did you do there? Imply that Miles Morales is on crack because he's black? Yeah, I see you. I. What else are you trying to do? Oh Christ! I almost want to skip over this because I remember this person's name whenever I see the name, or whenever it's brought up to me, and it's brought up to me a lot because I blocked this person months ago, and yet to this day, this person still cries to other YouTubers about me blocking him because I apparently meant so much to this person. Okay. So in my this is my second inaugural Professor Bill reads the mean comments. Um, in the first one, I read a bunch of mean comments, and I read one about Dane also because he says something stupid. And what do you call it? So he decides to respond to this. I think he called me, yeah, he called me a douchebag because here's the thing. Richard C. Meyer, I'm remembering this because I'm seeing right up on top and I remember the whole situation. I can put people out of my mind, but I'll still remember things when like the keyword or something is brought up. So Richard C. Meyer, the head of Comicsgate, basically, he goes and says in the Unstoppable Wasp issue number whatever one of the issues, I don't remember which issue it was, one of his reviews for one of the issues of Unstoppable Wasp, that they're trying to get girls into science, or it's STEM, which means science, technology, education, and mathematics. I'm a huge proponent of STEM. I love the idea of, I used to teach STEM, for crying out loud. You know what I'm saying? I was a part of STEM before STEM was a thing. I was a pre-STEM STEMmer. Anyway, and I have 4 kids, one of which is already in university, and she's studying to be a biochemist, which I am super proud of her. And I have fostered this love of science in her my whole life. So where I'm coming from, when I see I've only watched like 2 full videos from Richard Meyer. This was one of them. All right, that's the your boy Zach, Comics and Diversity, whatever, Diversity in Comics, and now he calls Comics Matter with your boy Zach. That's the name of his channel if you want to go and check him out. You've probably heard of him. He's a much bigger channel than I am because people like the shock and awe, and that's not what I'm about. Anyway, except with these these videos particularly. So he goes and says at one point, why is Marvel always trying to get people into STEM? Like, girls don't like science. Girls like ponies and princesses and pink things. Like, he said something to that effect. Something about, I'm not, it's not an exact quote unless it is, but he said something to that effect. It was a long time ago since I've seen this video and heard what he had to say. And I was appalled by this because I am strong in the sciences. I want my kids to be strong in the sciences. Even if they're not going to follow that career, I want them to actually be interested in it. I mean, you're talking about like both of my kids have been in the AP science classes and math classes for a ridiculously long time, all throughout high school. You know what I'm saying? both of my, my oldest kids. And both girls in the sciences, and I couldn't be more proud of them. Even if they failed the classes and didn't want to be in, I'm still going to be proud of them. But I couldn't be more proud at the success that they're having in these classes, and they're interested in it. They talk about it all the time, and it's like, they're always confounded by these amazing new discoveries that are being discovered. They follow this stuff outside of the world. So my experience is that kids can get into the sciences. You don't just classify all girls as they're into pink things and stuff like that. That's just silly. That's silly. So I mentioned that I feel bad for Zach's kids, for Richard's kids. I feel bad for his daughters. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's all I said. I didn't call him a scumbag or anything like that, although he can act like one. I'm just going to throw that out there since we're discussing it. But I didn't call him a scumbag. You know what I'm saying? I simply said in this one video, hey, this guy's got he's got some issues. You know what I'm saying? And I really feel bad for his kids that they're potentially going to grow up without this introduction to the sciences, because that's the place where I'm at. I didn't grow up with this love for science. I had to discover engineering on my own because I had a horrible guidance counselor. I'm on the dean's list 3 out of 4 years in high school. 3 out of 4 years, I'm on the dean's list for all of the, for my studies, for getting the good grades that I got, for the teachers loving what I can do and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Pretty smart guy. And yet I didn't go to college right out of high school. I went to the military instead because I didn't know what to do with my life, because I had a horrible guidance counselor. And so for me, that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me to not guide your kids and give them some examples of what's out there in life. Options, peeps, options. That is what is going to keep the country going forward. Having your kids know, I feel bad for his kids. I don't think that necessarily makes me a douchebag. I'm already reading ahead and seeing what he says about me, but hey. I don't think that necessarily makes me a douchebag. I'm already reading ahead and seeing what he says about me, but hey. So anyway, Dane getting all on the defensive. Dane Barrett here. I don't listen to any, mind you, I blocked this guy like 2 months ago. So I think that there's a couple things in here from him. I think there's one other thing in here from him. And to this very day, he still cries about me blocking him and doesn't understand why I blocked him. Let's see if you guys can get it on your own. Let's see what we got here. 1, I don't listen to any Comic-Gate sites. I do listen to Zach because he entertains me. I don't care if he entertains you. I don't care if he entertains you. You just contradicted yourself in your first statement right there. That's strike 1. Argument number 1 is strike 1 against you. You think that's somehow against me. I don't listen to any Comic-Gate sites. I do still listen to Zach, who's the head of arguably the head of Comicsgate. He's the most, belialed of them because just how toxic he is. Anyway, so yeah, cool. Go ahead and keep on contradicting yourself. 2, your review of X-Force 5 made it sound like you thought adamantium practically made him invulnerable. I know you know better. How do you know me? How do you know me? Because I tell you some things about me? Of course. What are you talking about? First off, let me see. Obviously, you don't know better. I'm going to make a judgment based on what you're saying here. I said at one point that one of I think it was an X-Force book, Wolverine was shot up and it looked like the bullets went through the adamantium and like blew out his skull, which if he's got adamantium, and since his bones are shining, they're made of some kind of metal, right? Like he's got a coating, a thin coating of some kind of metal on him. I'd figure it's still adamantium to this day, right? It looked like bullets went completely through, not just into his eye, no, blew off like portions of his skull and stuff like that. In which case, I'm thinking, doesn't he have an indestructible adamantium skeleton? Isn't that how he's been described in the comic books forever? But Dane apparently has the IQ of a fish stick with the personality of a squirt of tartar sauce, so he decides to berate me and says, it made it sound like you thought that adamantium made him practically invulnerable. Yes! Adamantium-laced skeleton makes you practically invulnerable, you freaking jackass. Unbelievable. I know you know better. No, you don't. But some people who don't know might misread that and think it's so. Shut up. Here's number 3. I make positive comments all the time. I have yet to see a single positive comment you have ever made. I also make negative ones. I thought you would read the part where I said you talking about Meyer's relationship with his kids was a douche move and unsubbed you. If you unsubbed me, why are you still talking? Why are you still following me? Why are you still to this, like, not just this tweet, why is it that to this day, like literally as of yesterday, other YouTubers are telling me that they're still putting up with you bitching like a whiny little bitch about, I can't believe Professor Bill, apparently it means so much to you, I can't believe Professor Bill or blocked me from his channel. Me! My God, man. Oh my God. Nice that you try to make your commenters look like assholes. I don't have to do a lot to make certain people look like assholes. Some people come dressed for the part, but won't call out yourself. Call myself out on what? My God, man, what a jackass. First name Jack, last name Ash. Last name Ass. Thanks for the negative shout out. I'll wear it proudly. You know, you act like you're so tough. You act like you're so cool. Still to this day, on other people's YouTube channels and privately to some of these guys in live chats and all sorts of different ways, anybody who has a relationship with me on YouTube, they're usually smaller channels, any of the smaller channels, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. Do you guys know why I blocked him for something? I don't remember why. He complained about, why I finally blocked him, but he says he blocked me because... No, I didn't block you because of that last thing that I finally blocked you for. That was just simply the straw that broke the camel's back. I don't remember what it was about that I blocked you for, but it was literally a succession of negativity on your part, and it's frustratingly annoying, and I just don't want to... In fact, Ernie, Blurred Without Fear, a channel that is bigger than mine, was in my chat at the time, and he's just... And there was a lot of people in the chat talking about, dude, you're a dick. Dude, stop being such a jerk. Dude, are you a racist? Dude, hey, what do you think? What's your opinion on Riri Williams? Because that's usually a good way to find out if somebody's a racist. A lot of people thinking this dude's a racist, including Ernie, Blurred Without Fear. And I finally said, dude, you know what? I'm done with you. And I was like, I'm just done with you. I'm blocking you from the channel. Please go have a good life, whatever, right? This was in a live stream that I did on my channel, one of my live streams. And afterwards, the reason why I brought up Ernie in the first place, Ernie said, yeah, dude, you don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Casual observers even see you as being a negative person. Bruh, I spent too much time on your pitiful existence, all right? We're all in different places at different times in our life. Right now, you are in a terrible place in your life, and I'm not your shrink. You need to go and get one, though. You need a therapist. Hope that you can move on and recognize the problems in your own life and call your own bullshit out. Because that's what you need. Because at the end of the day, bro, you could be driving down the street and somebody cuts you off. That person's an asshole. If you continue driving down the street and somebody else cuts you off, that person's an asshole too. But if a third and more people keep on cutting you off or doing something that pisses you off, they're not the assholes anymore. You are. Because the only person here who's got a problem is you. Maybe that's just the way that people drive in this neighborhood. And you haven't recognized that you're in Rome. You need a lot of therapy. You need to work some stuff out. Or maybe you emotionally act like a 12-year-old because you are actually 12. I don't know. You're just some little cartoon avatar of a guy going like that with the name Dane Barrett. I don't know you. I have a feeling I know you better than you know yourself, though. Hey, prove me wrong. Okay. All right, here's a really frustrating one. Look, Derek Pierce is one of my followers, or not just one of my followers. No, more specific, he's actually a buddy that I game with. I've had plenty of personal conversations with the guy. I know the guy really well, so I understand his sarcasm easily, right? That being said, Derek can be a bit of a jerk sometimes. So Derek, in my most recent Professor Bill Reads Mean Comments video, says, comics are for dorks that can't get laid. He was being silly about it, all right? I even said, oh, I forgot they let you out. Just being silly back with him. Black Joker didn't get the joke because he doesn't know Derek, and he says, LOL, I get laid when I want and own a huge comic book room. Derek then responds, Black Joker, the fact that you need to point that out proves you're only getting laid by Rosie Red Palm and her 5 sisters. Actually, Black Joker has a hot wife. Sorry, Black Joker. I'm simply pointing out the obvious. He's got a hot wife. And, yeah, no. I'm pretty sure he's good. And he's very comfortable with who he is. And he's a very laid-back, chill person. He's a totally awesome person. Derek, this one's on you, bro. Calling you out. One of my moderators on my Facebook group. Love Derek. But I'm calling out Bull when I see Bull. Oy, anyway, let's see. Gray, who says, sorry for my bad English. I usually don't have a problem with bad English. I'll only call out your bad English if you're a jerk. You know what I'm saying? But let's see if Gray is a jerk or not. When I heard that Christos Gage was going to write this book, I don't know which book it was. I didn't caption it the right way. With Mr. Slott. Oh, but it's probably Iron Man 2020. So Christos Gage writing a book with Mr. Slott. Sounds like that. I got very excited since both of them are working on Superior Spider-Man in the past, which is one of my favorite Spider-Man stories, so I'm very hopeful this series ends up being good. I don't remember exactly why I screen captured this, but you know what? It was probably simply to mention what I'd already said. I don't mind if your English is bad. You don't have to apologize for your English. At the end of the day, you are talking to me in my language. I'm not talking to you in your language, right? So your mastery of the English language, however weak you may see it, is better than my mastery of your language. So don't be ashamed. Don't be shy. It's cool, brother. It's cool. And good comment. Yes, I agree. Also on Iron Man 2020, Chillmonger comments, by the way, guys, dude just got to 500 subs. Who wants to join the 501st Legion? Who wants to be the 501st subscriber to Chillmonger? Because I'm saying. Chillmonger says about Iron Man 2020, number 1, this was a tough read, didn't like it. The tie-in you're speaking of says I, Wolverine. There's a letter I before W. Boom. Hey, you know what? Here's an opportunity for me to call myself out on my own bullshit, I guess. I got a little bit bothered in that I'm a nerd, just like all of us who are reading these comic books. I'm a nerd. And I was reading the Iron Man 2020 in the back. You know, it's a whole event with a whole bunch, with a big list of a whole bunch of other comic books that are coming in that are going to be a part of this big event. One of the things that it says is I, Wolverine, issue number 1 and 2. There might have been issue 3 in there also, I don't remember, but there's at least issue 1 and 2. Now, at the time, Wolverine issue number 1 by Benjamin Percy and Adam Kubert and Victor Bogdanovic, doing 2 separate arts, they weren't, that first issue hadn't dropped yet. But I was upset. I'm like, you're going to finally reintroduce a Wolverine comic book to the Marvel Universe, to the comic book shelves, and you're going to have it a part of this event? You're going to have it starting as a tie-in to this? I think that's booty. Why would you do that? And Chillmonger's pointing out that I apparently wasn't wearing my glasses, or if I was, that's even worse. I didn't notice that it said I, Wolverine. There's a lowercase I in front of a capital W, I, Wolverine, meaning that it's actually Albert that we're doing the Wolverine cyborg clone thing. So, oops, Chillmonger noticed something much more perceptive than I am in that case, so I got upset over nothing, and oops. So, good job calling me out on that. Also, same exact story. Here's freaking Dane Barrett again. Okay, so here's the second thing that he says. Dane Barrett says in Iron Man 2020 issue number 1, oops, the Machine Man miniseries by DeFalco, Trimpe, and BWS is still awesome and classic. What Slott has done here with Aaron Stack is horrible and disrespectful to the character, and if I was those creators, I would not want my name connected with what this asshole has done here. It's funny that I talked about who an asshole is, right? Are you driving down the street? Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I've seen the next comic book series, and, you know, it showed Machine Man as being anti-human. In fact, when you think about the actual crazy, I don't know, man. If you've read such and such and such, that's cool. Did you ever read Kirby's Machine Man? Because if you did, you know that Kirby made it so that Hal, you know, the first technical appearance of Machine Man is in one of the what is it? 2001: A Space Odyssey comic books. The Stanley Kubrick movie. It was made into a comic book. Kirby was on that, and the sentient whatever the AI on that space station, Hal. I'm afraid I can't do that. Whatever Dan, whatever the guy's name is, from it's been forever since I've seen that movie. I don't even think I sat through the whole movie. It was just too trippy for me, and I don't smoke weed, so I didn't get. I don't do LSD, so I didn't get into that movie half as much as some other people did. Go and read Howard Stern's first or second book. I think it was his second book to understand what I mean by that. Anyway, so yeah, I what do you call it? Hal is actually Machine Man. If you follow the chain of connection, so and that's a guy who was willing to kill humans because it was better for everybody. I don't know, man. I wonder, like, how into comic books are you? But you're apparently into assholes. There's that. Okay. Here's a fun. I can already see where this is going. We had Bible Alive Productions here. Here's apparently the owner of it. Anyway, one of the issues of Batman: Curse of the White Knight. Melissa Harris decides to interject her personal belief system into all of our lives and says Sean Gordon Murphy is an atheist who blasphemous to Jesus Christ. Actually, he either is blasphemous to Jesus Christ or who blasphemies Jesus Christ. That's the way the English language works. Just saying. See, I don't make fun of you if you're being cool, but if you're being a jerk, I will absolutely make fun of your English. Who blasphemous to Jesus Christ and wears, not Wears, but no, Wares, so wears like a warehouse, wears an upside down cross, which, not Which, no, Witch, so a witch, which is disrespectful to our Lord Jesus Christ. Who's Lord Jesus Christ? Your Lord Jesus Christ. Hey, I don't know if he actually is an atheist or an agnostic or if he follows a denomination other than what you follow, or maybe the same denomination, hopefully not. You're an embarrassment to your denomination, but hey, maybe everybody in your denomination likes that idea. Either way, Melissa Harris, if indeed that is your real name, you're an atheist too. Let's say that Sean Gordon Murphy is an atheist. All right, to all religion. You are an atheist also, to one less religion than he is. Think about that. Because you don't believe in Buddhism or Hinduism or Jainism or Baha'ism or Islam or any other denomination of Christianity or Judaism or anything like that. Zoroastrianism. You don't follow any of that. You don't believe in any of those things. You're an atheist to those religions. Stop talking, start thinking, and learn how to spell. Okay. King 2020 comments in one of the Detective Comics comic book reviews. There it is again. What is this anti-Bob Kane thing you're doing? I've explained this before. Happy to explain it again. Bob Kane did not create Batman. He created the name Batman. The image that he used was booty, and the image was retconned later, before the comic book even started. Other people had something to say with the way that Batman would look. Bill Kane, what an insult. Bill Finger actually wrote all of those comic books. So he actually created most of those characters in there. We've already seen how Bob Kane everybody in the industry knew and still to this day knows that Bob Kane was a swiper. That's not just swiper, no swiping. He's an actual swiper. This is what they always called someone who steals other people's art. Like copy and paste and trace other people's art. They've known that he's done this. We've shown that that's the case with the original Batman look. All this stuff. He didn't invent the Joker. He stole the idea of the Joker from somebody else. Bill Kane admitted himself while he was still alive that he actually stole an idea of the he used, like, to the letter. Comics Tropes actually did a commentary on this, which was cool. What do you call that? That Bill Finger actually stole one of the shadow stories for the first Batman story in Detective Comics, number 27. All this stuff. But anyway, yeah, Bob Kane has admitted 20 years after the death of Bill Finger when he was at the end of when Bob was at the end of his life, that he wishes that he would have given at least some mention that Bill Finger is actually partially, responsible for the creation of Batman. He's actually entirely responsible for all that stuff, and he's always been screwed, and he's been literally held down, like foot on his neck, held down, figuratively, his entire life by Bob Kane, was never able to get the break that he needed as one of the co-creators of Batman because he was legally bound and stifled by Bob Kane, which was a damn shame. So here, I'm just this little tiny YouTuber. I'm basically a speck on a zit on the butt crack of the universe, and I simply don't want to mention that Bob Kane had anything to do with the creation of Batman because he didn't, except for the name, maybe. And yeah, so I'm nothing. But meanwhile, Bob Kane, who was always given the credit for the creation of Batman, yeah, he didn't let this guy or his family even get royalties for the creation of this amazing, like the most popular character there is. And the person who created the most popular character who there is didn't get credit where credit was due. I'm saying that's really messed up. That is genuinely messed up. So that's where that's coming from. Anyway. Okay, get a whole bunch of these. I think it was X-Men number 9 or 8, whatever it was. The Uncanny X-Men before this Hickman rebirth, the Hoxpox stuff. Yeah, there were the three. There was like Rosenberg, Thompson, and Brisson were writing the first 10 X-Men comic books or so. And they made it so that the Kaaba, along with 2 other holy sites, disappeared. And I get a bunch of people. I've actually I've actually blocked a bunch of people from the site, from the YouTube site, just because they actually made death threats towards me, which is, I'm not going to take it seriously. If I see you in real life and you make mention, hey, you're the guy who did, who put up the such and such and such on there, I'm going to attack you before you get the sentence out, because I believe that you have probably come to stalk me and try and hurt me. I'm saying I'm a big guy. I have the ability to do that, and I will utilize that. I will defend myself preemptively because we have seen the death threats that you have made against me. Cool. Come and meet me in real life. I'm not going to give you a chance to enact those. I'm going to put you on the defensive. That being said, there were some comments which were just silly, and I didn't block these people. And boom, there you go. So, Fike Fre comments on here, which they destroy Kabe. You know how to spell Kaaba, man. Islam is real and Allah real. I'm Muslim. I hate Marvel. Thank you for your opinion. At least it was fair. At least it was fair. You didn't make an attack against me. Cool. This next guy. I'm Muslim 1:29. I think that's where I actually showed the image of what Marvel did. Really Mecca. Cool. So he's putting it out so people could actually get to it and see that this happened. Here's a funny one. My January 9th, 2020 This Week in Comics, where I go to Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles right here in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. I say that in the beginning and the end of every single one of those videos that I'm in Canada. CyberGig00 feels the need to ask, how come that kid is dressed for winter and you're dressed for summer? Because he's my son, and his mom was waiting outside and said and my son said I wanted to come inside and hang out with Daddy, because sometimes he buys me a piece of candy from the comic book store if I hang out with him and I'm good. So like I always bring candy to them regardless, but I guess he figured he gets to choose his candy if he comes into the store. Wow. Anyway, so he just came in from outside. It's January 9th, and it's Canada. If you can't figure out the rest, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Let's see. One of the Justice League books. Joe Lewis comments 1-800-273-8255. So, for a good time, call Joe Lewis's mom. Okay. Bunch of English. I teach English. That's how I actually make my money. Teaching is online. I was helping out some kids, so I had those images in there. Captain Marvel: The End. Somebody named Cocaine 8DS commented, "Waste." Yeah, it was kind of a waste of a comment, but whatever. Graham Pavy on the same comic book, Captain Marvel: The End, says, "Do a Weapon Plus review." Graham Pavy. One, it's disrespectful to the comic book, because why are you mentioning why are you telling me to do a review for somebody else on somebody else's review? That's not cool. Two, don't you ever tell me what to do. Learn the English language, learn to be polite and say, are you going to do a Weapon Plus review, or can you do a Weapon Plus review, or hey bud, just something. Say something where it's a little bit polite. Don't tell me what to do. You don't pay me. You don't pay me. Graham Pavy, get a life. More English stuff. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, Dane Barrett on one of these comments, whatever. I apparently did a crossover with somebody. Bunch of people saying, dude, love you both, sweet. People saying nice, whatever. Dane Barrett shows up. The person who sometimes does positive stuff says, welcome to the first installment of Who the Bigger Hippie? And then 3 little faces. Dane, I don't know if you were ever in the military, and I'm positive that you still watch this stuff because you tell other YouTubers that you still watch my stuff. You're blocked, so you can't comment as you anymore, but you can still watch my stuff, and you evidently do. As of yesterday, I was told you still watch my stuff. So, hi, Dane. It's me again, your cyber crush. What do you call it? Understand I'm just not that into you. But also, I don't know if you were ever in the military or not. Please don't do that stolen valor thing. But those of us who actually were in the military, there's 2 things you could say to insult an actual soldier or a former soldier. One, calling them a coward, especially if you never joined the military. I think that should be self-explanatory, but hey, what the hell do I know? 2, calling us hippies, because it shows that you clearly don't know what the word hippie means. I don't think it's possible for a hippie to voluntarily join the military. Maybe that's just me. But hey, whatever. You do you, boo. You do you, boo. Achilles Coletas comments on a Justice League Dark video. Bloody hell, I'm getting sick to turn the pages in the next damn issue. He actually does the curse symbols. Upside Down Man is freaking me out. Good writing and imagery when the villain can do this to the reader. Yes, 100% agreed. James Tynion IV is a terrifying individual. Because, I will turn the page in a Justice League Dark book, and, my thumb will still be resting on the page, and, Upside Down Man will be there. And I'd be like, yeah, that was really close to his teeth. I'll move it, because he's that freaky of a freaking character. So, yes, 100% agreed. X-Men Fantastic Four issue number 1 review from Director's Cut from Chip Zdarsky. This guy writes, I told my boss at work, James C. says, I told my boss at work, no, it isn't Wednesday because Professor Bell didn't have any reviews posted early this morning. I usually post my reviews at 3 o'clock in the morning for you guys. Then she showed me the calendar. I got nervous. Does Canada have Amber Alerts for adults? That is freaking hysterical, dude. You were awesome. Yeah, I just that night, for some reason, I was super exhausted, so I just went to bed early, and then I woke up and I had to go to work. I had to do my regular, teach English at home thing, get my kids to school and everything like that, and then just, wow. So by the time I got to actually making the videos, it was freaking late. That is actually me buying figures online. What is this? Okay, so this is a person from, his name is, this person's name, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, Kyle Miller. It's Kile Miller, so I don't know what that's supposed to imply, but anyway. I remember reading this whole big long thing. I put in here just say, there's a big long statement about how Cyclops is the most awesome character, and because we did the first comic book courtroom was about what do you call it? Sterling and Derek were the 2 lawyers in there, and I kept my mouth shut until the very end, where I was the judge, and I let these 2 decide, was Cyclops right for the AVX thing, the Avengers versus X-Men thing specifically. AVX was a slightly different thing. Anyway, so he just puts on this whole big thing about Cyclops and whatnot. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him at all. We have to remember, though, these aren't real characters. You know, saying these are fake characters. It's totally fiction. And part of what Cyclops actually is, Scott Summers, one of the reasons why we like him so much is because to the casual observer, he's just a guy with heat beams going pew pew out of his eyes, right? It's the person who gets to know the character who comes to recognize that no, one, Cyclops doesn't have heat beams, he has concussive beams. The whole reason why he has to wear the visor or the glasses with ruby quartz lenses, the idea that he's carrying the weight of the entire world on his shoulders, protecting the entire world, humans and mutants alike, even though the humans are oftentimes trying to hurt the mutants, and is a big conflict of interest there. But he does whatever he's got to do to be able to protect both, because that's the kind of person that he is. And he does run into difficulties. He's not a perfect human being. He's not a perfect mutant. He's not a perfect anything. So with everything that's written here, I ain't mad at you. Just remember that it is all of these minutiae that make us love Cyclops so much. If Cyclops had an easy life, Cyclops would be boring. Cyclops at a beach just banging Jean and Emma and possibly Wolverine too. I'm not going there. Whatever it is, what it is. Him banging whoever he wants to bang, that to me is not necessarily interesting Cyclops reading. So I do like when he's engrossed in the hard stuff. Also on that video, just some guy asks, where did Sterling go to law school? Just curious. Steve Jones Gaming. Sterling keeps a lot of his private life private, so I know where he went to school. I'm not going to say unless he decides to say where he went to school. But Steve Jones Gaming responds to, where did Sterling go to law school? Steve Jones Gaming says, he's a boy out of Texas. Calling a black man a boy has problems in and of itself. And I get it, you're from Texas too. Cute, but be a little bit more aware of yourself. All right? Also, out of Texas. I didn't tell just some guy where he's from because, or where he went to law school. I didn't say any of that stuff. Also, I didn't call him a boy because Sterling is a grown-ass man who, congratulations, graduated from high school, graduated from law school, went from a lawyer to an attorney because he passed the bar, he passed everything. Dude is an amazing human being, and for being so young, there's so much promise for this young man, not boy, man. He's a grown-ass man, and I'm saying that with my whole ass chest. Steve Jones Gaming, you need to check yourself. So I did respond to him and say, I don't necessarily see him as a boy, and like, do you actually know him? He says, I've known him my whole life, I'll call him what I want. I've known him his whole life, he says. Well, unlike you, no, you don't actually know him. You watched him on a Facebook post. You were like a follower or something to that effect on a Facebook post because somebody else who you know went to the same law school or went through some of this. No, not even the same law school. One of the same trials that he went on, the mock trials that he went on. So you know Sterling from there. You are not actually a friend of his. You do not know him. He doesn't know you, and he said as much. So to me, you're just coming off as an absolute racist jackass ignoramus. So there's that, Steve Gaming. Anyway, let's look on Black Joker. You're awesome. You stay high too, brother. Trap Town TRP and every other group that's out there who's trying to get a name. Great video. Keep it up. Would you like to be YouTube friends? No, dude, I don't want to be your freaking YouTube friend. I'm not going to subscribe to you. Nobody else is going to subscribe to you either. Please go away. Stop trying to make your living off of somebody else. Stop trying to get famous. I'm a small channel, and I'm okay with being a small channel because every single subscriber I have is not bought and was not brought in from some other group. You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, hey, this is a really cool, video that you made. Hey, I talked about the exact same subject in a video that I just made on my channel. Hey, check it out, please. I don't do that because I'm willing to make my own based on my own merit. And however small I am, I made it myself, so I'm proud of it. I don't think you can be proud of what you do. At least you shouldn't be. DC's Unkillables. Disappointed. Curtis Lemon says, disappointed. Where's Wolverine #1 review? Well, you're kind of a jackass. You don't. I'm going to go full black woman on you. You ain't my daddy, and you don't pay my bills. So shut up. You don't get to be disappointed in me. I don't know you, and you don't know me. And if you'd like to make requests of me, then by all means, feel free to subscribe to my Patreon, which you don't, and you never did. Don't make any suggestions for me. You weren't on my super chat. I'd remember you. Nah, wrong answer, brah. Let's see. Meanwhile, what's actually funny is that the Wolverine review actually went up the exact same time. I typically put up all of my reviews within 15 minutes of each other. All of them within 15 minutes of each other. So they all went up at approximately the same time. And for this guy, he was not the first person to because I see comments above his, so he was not the first person to freaking say something. Anyway, Wolverine issue #1, Mevin883 comments, whatever happened to Wolverine's flame or heat claws? Bruh, the first rule of Wolverine is we never bring up the hot heat flame claws. Those never existed. I don't know what you're talking about. Charles Soule, I'm sure, regrets it. No. Just no. Moving on. Coverage details, cool. One of my This Week in Comics critic, Apor Ahai, says, comments, why you look like Mario Rajoy. And another comment, Wale! I don't know what any of that stuff means. I looked up Mario Rajoy. I don't know what that means. But it's cool you making little comments. I've never seen this person comment again. This is what you look like, apparently. You're a Joker hiding behind a fake name and a standard image, and you want to make your commentary towards me about the way I look. Straight up pussy. Thought Cop comments on... Okay. Everybody remembers this Immortal Hulk, right? This is the one where the trans person says, hey, I've always dealt with identity. I've always questioned my identity my entire life, so when somebody tries to change my identity, I'm just a little bit more aware of somebody trying to interject their own thoughts into my own. So, hey. There's some people who made some silly comments like, wow, suddenly trans people have superpowers. I really don't see how this was such a controversial subject for some people, but apparently some people are threatened by the idea that there are trans people out there and they think that everybody's a Lola coming after them, right? Anyway, as far as this is concerned, Thought Cop comments, wait, you're trans? There's a level of stupid that transcends, there's a trans for you, that transcends, so you're trans maybe, transcends common stupidity. Like, really, man. Like, the first thing I said when I was like, I'm not trans, so I'm not a trans person, so I can't make, any in-depth commentary on this, but from what I know, I actually kind of like the idea that Al Ewing did such and such, because that's a pretty interesting thought, that they have thought about their identity a lot. I'm sure, clearly, you have to think, if you're going to transition from man to woman or a woman to man, you clearly have to have thought a lot about your identity, a lot more than I ever thought about my identity. My identity is a given. I grew up a straight white male, you know what I'm saying? Well, white enough. Anyway, I never thought, am I a man? I never had to think about that. I was always a man, always and always. And I never really thought, could I be gay? I liked women too much. I never thought about, having sex with a guy before. It never crossed my mind. So I never had to worry about that. My identity was always a given to me. It was easy, I guess, privileged. So I literally thought that was just a really cool thing. But I quite literally thought out and enunciated the idea that I am not a trans person, so I can't comment on it too much, but I kind of like the idea. And Thought Cop is apparently such a dumbass, Wait, you're trans? Oi! Okay, what's this one? Another Night Watch thing. Somebody's commenting, Night Watch, blah, 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 the Spawn thing. Todd McFarlane, this is Incognito Fool. Okay. Todd McFarlane didn't rip off any Marvel characters. He created Venom, so the darker visual style isn't a rip-off, it's his. He was also the first to draw the Prowler with the swirling cape. So McFarlane didn't rip off Marvel. If he anything, McFarlane ripped off McFarlane. Incognito Fool. I'm going to say that you're a blatant fool if you're not getting a check cut for you from Todd McFarlane as his PR department. I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything about you, but I will say this. I really doubt that you were, like me, 14 or 15, whatever, when Spawn issue #1 dropped on the shelves for the first time in comic book stores. Because I remember going to a comic book store that doesn't exist anymore. What a shame. Comics Plus, back in Ocean Township, New Jersey. Was a solid store. I liked it. I liked the people there. And I remember when I walked into that store and I saw Spawn #1 on the shelves. One of the reasons why Spawn #1 is not is a very expensive comic book to own nowadays is because most people, when they walked up and looked at it, they right away dismissed Spawn. And they're just like, look at this guy. He's a rip-off character. There's the skull on the chest like the Punisher. The skull's all over the place. There's the big, long, flowy cape. It looks just like Doctor Strange's cape. You know what I'm saying? Oh, look, there's the what do you call it? The pose like Spider-Man. There's the chains all over the place like Ghost Rider. It's like we sat there and we picked apart this character to detail. The people at the comic book store, the patrons, the owners, the employees, we all sat there and picked apart this comic book and we're just like, this is such a rip-off character. He created Venom. That's cool. He gets creator content, creator control, not control. He gets creator credit for Venom. But there's this thing called intellectual property. Does he own Venom? No. So if Todd McFarlane were to make a Venom comic book right now in Image Comic Books, would that be legal or would he get its ass sued into oblivion? That alone should tell you about what he created Venom actually means. It's a big deal, but it's not the final say in anything. We still have to obey laws, and this is a rip-off character. So the idea that Night Watch is a rip-off of a rip-off character is a valid criticism, and like I said, incognito fool, blatant fool, obvious fool. I hope that Tom McFarlane's giving you a check. Ziad17. I'm a Muslim. How you do this, you ain't scared from Allah. How I show an image of what Marvel did in one of my videos and how I'm not scared of a belief that I don't believe in. I don't believe in your God. I don't believe in your God. You do. I'm happy for you. Religion is supposed to be a personal experience. The moment you start trying to push it on someone else is when you're deserving of a good kaf. By the way, that's the Arabic word for slap. Let's see. Okay, one of the X-Men / Fantastic Four books from Chip Zdarsky, Ben Rojas. I understand critiquing how the art was done. However, if you're covering something, please silent the phone, please. Covering something, silent the phone, please. He's got the little Ghostbusters don't sign with a bell inside. I took some interrogation training when I was in the military, and Ben Rojas, this is like saying, you used however instead of but. In this particular case, the words are actually interchangeable, and but actually makes more sense here, because you apparently had a problem with me saying that the art was good, not great. So I complimented the art, but I said that the storytelling was great, the art was just good. I liked the art. I liked the art a whole lot, but the art wasn't great, and I feel that the art should have been better. And if that means getting a different artist, then so be it. Because when you have a story that's great, like it's literally just me praising the art and still giving a good, literally a good compliment towards the art. But you didn't like the idea that I didn't praise the art. Maybe you're the artist in disguise and you got a little butt hurt. Maybe you're just some jackass who's whatever. This isn't the idea of, you know, a constructive, because this isn't a constructive criticism, because all of this is one sentence, and you're like, I understand critiquing how the art was done, but this is almost like somebody saying, clean up your house before you make a comment on something. This is very akin, this is in the same line of reasoning as, hey, can you draw like this guy? No? Then you can't critique the art. Which is the exact same line of reasoning as saying that I can go to a restaurant and if I don't like the way the food is cooked, I just have to deal with it because I can't cook either. Actually, I can cook, but I'm Italian. I think we can all cook anyway. Amen. To each his own. But also, let me fill you into something there, Ben Rojas. My phone actually was on Do Not Disturb. This phone, it was on Do Not Disturb, just like it's on Do Not Disturb right now. But if my daughter, my oldest daughter, who was, and several people are on my bypass Do Not Disturb, my oldest daughter was on that because, for that specific instance, because she was just starting her second semester at university and COVID-19 had just started. So I wanted to make sure that she was going to be okay. And I wanted to make sure she had access to contact me in case she needed me to, you know, call her, pick her up, whatever. So, fuck you. Fuck your mother. Fuck your dog. Pussy. What's next? Oh, I think that's almost it. Here's some wall art. My youngest kids decided to draw on their wall. That's always fun. That was fun cleaning. Oh, and here's some stuff from Twitter. Because yes, I get hit on Twitter too. Okay. Really quick little thing into politics here. I will not vote for Joe Biden unless he does something to help me out. I'm barely into Bernie. I think that Bernie's doing, you know, he's doing better than everybody else is doing as far as actually helping regular workers. So I want to vote for Bernie. I want Bernie to be in charge. Mind you, he's still just he's not my go-to candidate. He's like my compromise candidate. There's nobody better. So Bernie is the guy who's at least doing something, doing several things that I actually approve of. I wish he was doing a whole lot more, but at least he's doing these things. So, hey, I kind of wish that he and Andrew Yang would have gotten together and just freaking tried to blow everybody else out of the water, but I guess that wasn't meant to be. Anyway, my youngest kids with their video games. I guess it's better than the drawing on the walls. So anyway, and my wife is with them. They're not unattended. They're not unattended to. So anyway, what have you now? So I simply mentioned, like, with all the accusations against Biden and all the things we already know about Trump, I am not a Democrat. I am not a Republican. I am an independent through and through and through. I'm an independent thinker. I'm not even a part of the Green Party or anything like that. No. And politics isn't sports to me. I'm not going to root for my home team. That's not who I am. No. I look at who's going to do the greater good for the world and who could possibly do some good things for me. I'm going to vote in my best interest. And if nobody does that, I'm going to make a statement, because if you Rush song, if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice, right? I choose not to vote for the lesser of two evils, because the lesser of two evils is still evil. And yes, I see Biden as evil, just as I see Trump as evil. I see them as terrible human beings. They're terrible, trash human beings who are only out for their own self-aggrandization. They're out there to try and make a dollar by helping out their corporate interests or their own interests, whatever. It doesn't matter, because it's all selfish. And it's not about us as the people. Neither of those two candidates are interested in the people. In fact, the only two candidates who were actually interested in the people, Bernie Sanders first, Andrew Yang second. And there should have been a whole lot more people who were actually about the people, but unfortunately that simply wasn't the case. So I said I refuse to vote for the lesser of two evils. Somebody goes and makes a comment on my Twitter. Johnny Amansky, yes, I think you have been unmanned. He says, I know you loved Bernie, but now it's Joe Biden or Trump picking Ruth Bader Ginsburg's replacement. Up to you. I respond, actually, it's not up to us. We Bernie supporters are the ones who were always disenfranchised with the corporatists on the left and the right. If it were really up to us, then we'd hear promises to help the poor and working class. No, it's up to them. So if Trump wants my vote, or if Biden wants my vote, do something, like make a concession to me. Why should I have to concede my vote to vote for you because at least you're a little bit less worse than the other guy? And they're both saying that. And that's booty. No. Actually try to be a better person. It just, God, my God, man. But then here's this guy called That Faytail Guy. I have the avatar of me holding a Captain America shield, and this guy thinks that he understands me and Captain America. And he says, "Hi, Captain America would vote Biden in this instance, so, ... practice what you preach." That is such mental gymnastics to try and get your point across, whatever your bullshit point is in the first place. Bro, you don't get to look at my avatar and say that I worship Captain America. I don't. I think Captain America is my favorite superhero, and that's it. That's really all it comes down to. I don't worship the freaking guy. He's not my god. You know what I'm saying? That being said, this guy works for Disney in the theme parks. I guess he's one of the people who wears the costumes. Maybe he wears the Captain America costume. I don't know. I don't care. Maybe he jerks off to Captain America porn. I don't know. I don't care. But at the end of the day, he's basically this goofball who's going to tell me what this fictitious character of Captain America, who he would vote for, and then say that I'm preaching for Captain America because I have a Captain America shield in my avatar, and therefore I should vote for who he wants me to vote for. The mental gymnastics you have to do to make you think that what you wrote makes sense, you are first name Jack, last name ass. Dude, come on, man. In the words of Biden, come on, man. Yeah, no. Sorry, that's just not how it works. Plus, in my opinion, I think that Captain America would be more like Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain to those who are not indoctrinated or inundated at the very least. Yeah, and I don't think that Samuel Clemens would actually vote for Biden. I don't think he would vote for Trump either. That's just me. I think he'd more likely to vote for Biden, but I think he would also choose to abstain from his vote. That's just my opinion. And if I worship Clemens, that would have more bearing on me. I'm just simply pointing out the factual. But that Faytail guy is a jackass, so what do you want? So anyway, he also says, Cap would be proud of you. Stan too, I'm sure. Cap's not real. I've actually met Stan Lee. I doubt you have. But hey, what do I know? Okay. That Faytail guy has also, he continues commenting, I see a lot of white women not wanting to vote for Biden. As a brown person, please vote for him. Thank you. Signed, signed, the guy whose wife got spit on the day that Trump got elected and told to go back to Mexico. I'm going to try and be as respectful as I possibly can, that Faytail guy. Fuck your wife. Because she has absolutely nothing to do with someone's vote. She has absolutely nothing to do with that. If she actually was spit on by someone and told to go back to Mexico, what does that have to do with anything? What does it have to do with anything? Who cares that your wife got spit on? That means nothing. I do not have to vote for who you want me to vote for because your wife got spit on and told to go back to Mexico, assuming that actually happened in the first place. There's a level of stupidity that, again, transcends normal cognition. My God, man. Seth Graham Smith responds, never Biden equals a vote for Trump. I'm only voting Green Party equals a vote for Trump. Right in Bernie equals a vote for Trump. Meh, I'll stay home equals a vote for Trump. If you're a Trump voter, own it, but don't dress it up as a protest. Graham Seth Smith. Seth Graham Smith, your name. Seth Graham Smith. Shut up. Because anybody who's not smart enough to be able to do basic math, I am not interested in what you've got to say. You don't comprehend facts, logic, anything if you can't do basic math. 0 can never equal 1. ever. You could try, but you will fail. It does not ever equal 1. All right? So, for proof, if I were to vote for Trump, does that equal 2 votes for Trump? Logic. But hey, people like you, emotional little morons, you're not going to let something like facts and reason get in the way of a good argument, right? Yeah, little bitch. Anyway, and then of course freaking that Fatel guy has to jump in on there also, riding it from the back and doing a reach around. Say it louder for the people in the back. You're the only one who's in the back, dude. Actually, yeah, you know what? You're probably in the front. You're probably in the front of that Congo line. Getting pounded from behind, watching your wife get spit on, and then eating it. Absolute cuck bastards. Talking trash because I won't vote, and you're trying to shame me into voting for who you want me to vote for because some jackasses have propped up 2 loser scumbags as each being the lesser of each other's evil. And those are the only 2 put in front of us. And meanwhile, we still have a chance to change that. But you're willing to follow the herd and keep on voting for the lesser of 2 evils, for these 2 people who are propped up, as opposed to protest against that and say, no, I'm not going to do that. And meanwhile, try to be an activist and try and get a word out to try and do it. Listen, I don't owe my vote to anybody. And if you can't figure that out, you're the idiot. And you should be shamed into shutting up. But hey, maybe that's just me. And I'm out. Guys, keep your mean comments to yourself. Learn what constructive criticism is and what being an a-hole is. Otherwise, you end up here. And if you don't like it, well, I actually already gave you that advice. But hey. Anyway. Yeah, I'm done. That's mean comments. And I'm out. You guys have a good one. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Keep it nice. Keep it clean. Class dismissed.